understand. Turn the pages and learn it once again. Kaiten, Kaiten, round and round and round.
Kaiten Sensei, Scene 13.
Maybe I should introduce my in-laws, Shizuka's mother and father. We see them often because they live down the street from us. Mr. Yoshimura is a serious man and he loves to read books. I love to read too, so we sometimes talk about the books we have read. Unfortunately, Mr. Yoshimura is not very good at explaining the books he has read. He hesitates a lot and then forgets important details, and after a few minutes, he gives up. It's too bad, but I'm still happy that he loves reading. Mrs. Yoshimura is not what you would call a typical Japanese mother. She is very talkative like Shizuka, and she is known for getting angry when anyone is late for a dinner that she has cooked. Mrs. Yoshimura talks to me a lot, but she hardly lets me get in a word during our conversations. She's very similar to my wife. There is one more person to introduce. Shizuka's grandfather and Mr. Yoshimura's father. He lives with the Yoshimuras and is a real interesting character. I call him Grandpa Yoshi. He's a very stubborn man, but he has some fascinating stories about Japan when he was young. He has a few strange habits, though. His wife passed away about 10 years ago, but he still talks about her as if she were still alive. Another odd habit is that he doesn't like to go out after noon because he thinks it will get dark soon. Many people have tried to explain that there is still about 6 hours before the sun sets, but he won't believe anyone. Grandpa Yoshi wakes up around 5 a.m. every morning. He often forgets where he puts things and calls out questions out loud. Has anyone seen my glasses? Does anyone know where the tea is? Why does everyone hide everything from me? Mr. and Mrs. Yoshimura ignore him, and Grandpa just walks around talking to himself. By the time the Yoshimuras wake up, Grandpa Yoshi is so tired from talking to himself and walking around that he is usually sleeping on the couch in the living room. Mr. and Mrs. Yoshimura have a quiet breakfast before Grandpa wakes up. By 9 o'clock, he is up walking around and asking questions once again. Has anyone seen today's newspaper? I know I saw it. I need to see if the Giants won. I know the Giants won. I still remember when they won 9 years in a row. Those were the days. From 1965 to 1973, the Giants won every Japan series, and I saw every game. In Game 1 in 1970, Shigeo Nagashima was fantastic. Nobody really knows how to respond to Grandpa Yoshi, but they just let him continue. Grandpa Yoshi has taught me a lot about Japanese baseball and the Yomiuri Giants, his favorite team. As for me, well, I'm not a Giants fan. There are too many people who like the Giants, and they win too often. I prefer to support the underdog, the ones we expect to lose.